So ironically, around the same time that Kyle Rittenhouse was being interviewed by Ricada Law, Johnny Walker Dredd and I were interviewing Faith Rittenhouse, who wanted to come on to discuss her problems with Kyle's upcoming book. Johnny and I were both given advance copies of it, and there's a lot of personal stuff in this book that really does not need to be brought out in any book regarding Kyle's life. And I interacted with him, well, rather, he interacted with the chat. He was in the chat of the Ricada Law stream before it started and said, hey, everyone, you know, I'd be willing to answer any questions about my book if you have them. And I immediately asked him directly, why did you feel compelled to include matters of your mother and sister's personal lives in your book? And he didn't answer me. I super chatted during the course of the show, and I didn't know if and when it would ever be read. I assumed it was not going to be because I sat there for a while to see. But I tend to forget that some people wait to answer super chats until later. So I have to credit Ricada Law for actually reading that super chat. He has failed to read my super chats in the past, so I didn't know what to make of it. But thanks to friend of the show, Winning Reality, I was able to get my hands on the clip of him answering my direct question.
V Radio. What compelled you to discuss your mother and your sister's personal lives in your book, meaning stuff not relevant to that night?
Well, I think it's relevant to tell my whole story of what it was like growing up and my experiences around me.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I was kind of saying, like, while you were gone and when you came back. It's like there's so much of you that exists outside of this night, and all of that matters to your experience.
Kyle, nobody needs to know the intimate details of your mother or your sister's sex lives to understand you. To understand anything that happened that night in Kenosha. None of that is necessary. It's not going to help anyone other than the people who have been dying for more personal information to torture your family with. And now you're just going to hand it to them. Nobody needs to know that stuff in order to understand you, your motivations that night, what happened that night, you know, or anything that's happened since. There's literally no reason for you to do this to your family.